I did not have a rich father. Not from, well-educated. I said I tried 3 times for university. All failed. For the last time, I went to the teacher's college, which was considered the 3rd or 4th class of my city. I applied for Harvard for 10 times. All failed. They don't even want to see me. Terrible. And I think that is a normal life.
Jack Ma is undoubtedly one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world today, but his early life was filled with failures and rejections. He failed his college entrance exam 3 times before he passed, and after graduating from the university, he tried to get jobs at 31 different places, but he was never accepted in any of them. In fact, he once applied for an entry-level job at KFC, but he was the only one rejected out of 24 applicants. They told him that he wasn't good enough. So how did a man who had all odds against him rise to become one of the most successful people in the world today? In this video, you are going to learn about the incredible story of Jack Ma, how he started his career as a teacher with a basic salary of $12 to how he built one of the largest companies in the world today. Jack Ma was born on September 10, 1964 in Hangzhou, the capital city of Zhejiang. As a young boy, Jack fell in love with the English language and literature, so at the age of 12, he got himself a pocket radio and began listening to English radio stations every day. However, he knew that he wasn't learning fast enough with his approach, so he decided to learn directly from the native speakers. Luckily for him, there is an international hotel in his hometown which was a 40-minute bicycle ride from his home. Jack had to leave his home as early as 5 a.m. every day to wait for tourists and offered to give a free tour of the city in exchange for English lessons. The idea worked and Jack soon became friends with some of the foreigners. One of them even gave him the nickname Jack because he found it hard to pronounce his Chinese name. But while he diligently learned the English language, Jack did not do so well in other subjects in school, especially mathematics. When it was time for the college entrance exam in 1982, he obtained only 1 point in mathematics out of 120 obtainable points. The following year, he sat for the entrance exam for the 2nd time and his score improved to 19 points. Seeing his poor performance, his parents persuaded him to learn a skill instead. But he was determined to go to the university at all costs, so he took the entrance exam for the 3rd time in 1984. This time, he scored 89 points and was admitted on his 3rd try. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in English in 1988 and got his first job as an English teacher, where he reportedly earned a meager salary of $12 per month. Seeing the great business empire that Jack eventually built, one would imagine that he has always been a business prodigy, when in fact he still has a limited knowledge of computers and was rejected in all the places he applied to work after graduating from college. In 1994, he started his first company. He offered translation and interpretation services, but unfortunately, he didn't find commercial success with the company. However, he was able to get a contract with the municipal government, which opened the next chapter of his life. He went to the United States on behalf of the government as an interpreter, and there he met a friend who showed him how the internet worked for the first time. Excited, he typed in the word beer on the computer, but to his dismay, there were no results for Chinese brands. Although he was disappointed at first, he soon recognized that this was a huge opportunity. He asked his friend to build a website which he later described as ugly for his translation company. Surprisingly, even though he didn't give too much thought to the website, he received emails from some investors who wanted to know more about his service only a few hours after its launch. This was when he realized the huge potential of the internet. So after he got back to China in 1995, he started his second company which he called China Pages. This was basically an online directory with the names and contact detail of Chinese businesses seeking customers overseas. He painstakingly collected information on companies which he would translate into English and send along with photos back to his friends in the United States for uploading to the website. To keep the company running, China pages needed more clients, but there was one problem. The internet had not yet become a thing in China, so explaining to business owner to give him over $2,000 to help create and design a website for them wasn't easy. Many of them were skeptical for obvious reasons, and he was treated like a con man for years. The day he got to show the people how the internet worked, it took over 3 hours to load the front page of a website. Within 3 years of operation, the company made about $800,000, but most of it went back into running the company. Eventually, he left China pages to work for the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Economic Cooperation from 1998 to 1999, while still holding his dream of becoming an entrepreneur close to heart. After almost 2 years of working with the government, Jack was becoming frustrated with the work and wanted to go back to being an entrepreneur. He left the job in 1999 and went back to Hangzhou to start his third venture. In his tiny apartment in Hangzhou, Jack gathered a group of 17 people, including his wife, a few friends, co-workers, and former students. He shared with them his goal of building a website to help millions of Chinese factories find an outlet overseas for their goods. Although the internet was still in its nascent stage in China, Jack was confident of what the future holds. He told his team that our competitors are not in China but in Silicon Valley. We should position Alibaba as an international website. Jack and his group of co-founders raised $60,000 and the company was founded on June 28, 1999. Alibaba grew steadily, but the company wasn't generating any revenue yet. So Jack went to the United States once again to secure funding for his new company. Unfortunately, no one was willing to invest in the company, either because they did not understand what it was all about or they did not believe in its vision. But Jack was used to getting rejected, so he did not give up. Eventually, he secured a $5 million investment from Goldman Sachs and another $20 million from the Japanese investment firm SoftBank. But despite surpassing 1 million registered users in December 2001, Alibaba did not turn a profit until the following year. However, the funding helped Jack and Alibaba stay afloat during the dot-com downturn that ensued shortly afterward. After Alibaba became profitable in 2002, Jack began to look for more profitable business model outside of the business-to-business model of Alibaba. He wanted to target China's consumer e-commerce market, but someone else beat him to it. Xiao Yibo, a Harvard graduate from Shanghai, founded IchNet, an e-commerce company similar to eBay. Not only that, but eBay also announced its expansion into China in 2003 by acquiring IchNet, which immediately gave the US company a 90% share of China's consumer e-commerce market. Jack saw eBay's expansion into China as a threat to his company. Although Alibaba operates a B2B model, he knew that it was only a matter of time before eBay starts competing with his company. So in May 2003, Jack secretly launched a new subsidiary called Taobao, which means hunting for treasure in Chinese. His goal was not to make a profit at first, but send the foreign competitor out of the shores of China. Taobao had the backing of SoftBank, which made it possible for Jack to battle with eBay. Jack also noticed some weaknesses in eBay's policy, such as charging users a transaction fee. Therefore, Taobao offered free listing to sellers and made money from online ads instead. Furthermore, Taobao launched an escrow-based payment platform called Alipay to ensure safe transactions online. This was a game changer for Jack and his company. When eBay realized what was going on, they offered to buy Taobao from Jack, but it was too late. Yahoo invested $1 billion for a 40% stake in the company at a $10 billion valuation. They failed to acknowledge Taobao as a worthy competitor initially and were soon reduced to irrelevance in China. Taobao became the market leader while eBay embarrassingly left China in 2006. After 15 years of operation, Alibaba went public on September 19, 2014 on the New York Stock Exchange and raised $25 billion at a market valuation of $231 billion. This is the largest United States IPO in history. To put this into perspective, it is bigger than the IPO of Google, Facebook, and Twitter combined. Following the IPO of Alibaba, the payment platform Alipay was renamed to Ant Financial Services as part of the company's expansion of its fintech services. The company grew rapidly, and by 2020, it already had over 1 billion users in China alone. So in 2020, Ant Group intended to complete an initial public offering aiming to raise $34 billion by listing. However, before its attempted initial public offering, Jack publicly criticized the Chinese regulatory system. Expectedly, this led to a major crackdown on his empire, and with only 2 days left before the IPO, the government introduced new regulations for online lending that disqualified Ant Group from making an IPO. The Shanghai Stock Exchange cited major issues as well as failure to meet listing requirements as the reason for the suspension. However, most foreign media reported that the Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping personally squashed the Ant Group IPO. Whatever may be the case, Jack Ma's life has never remained the same after the crackdown. He disappeared for 3 months, leading to rumors about his whereabouts before making a few appearances. Furthermore, his net worth at its peak was above $66 billion according to Forbes, but he has since lost more than half of this and is currently estimated to be worth about $20 billion. Jack Ma, a former English teacher who survived on a monthly salary of $12, is still one of the wealthiest people in China and the world today. Despite the failures and obstacles that characterized his early life, he has proven that the determination to succeed is more important than the obstacles on the way. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. See you next time.